Today on the Travel Royally podcast, we have Miss Angela Ormsby. She is a very decorated former UGA golfer. She got to spend some time on the LPGA, playing 10 majors, 3 opens. Can't wait to hear it. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of the Travel Royally podcast. Today, we're very excited to have with us Angela Ormsby. Angela's a teaching professional at White Oak Golf Club, where, truth be told, she's my instructor, albeit reluctantly. Angela attended the University of Georgia from 98 to 2002, and she racked up a ton of accolades as a member of the golf team. She was the South Region Freshman of the Year in 1999, SEC Golfer of the Year in 2002. She was twice an NCAA All-American in 99 and 2001. She was named to the All-SEC team and the All-Academic SEC team 4 years in a row. And she helped the Lady Bulldogs to 2 SEC championships and a national championship in 2001. And then after graduation, Angela went out on the LPGA, where she competed for 7 consecutive years before retiring from play in 2010. She competed in 10 majors throughout her career on the LPGA Tour, including 3 British Opens that we'll hear about today. She was also the head women's coach at Point University, and she's been a golf instructor at multiple clubs around Georgia. Angela, welcome to the Travel Royally podcast.
Thank you so much. And it's not reluctant that I teach you. You show up with a smile on your face every time.
Well, that's true. We always have fun. And at the end, I'm sure I'll ask if a shoulder turn is important to the golf swing. I'm still confused on that, but
hip turn.
Hip turn. Okay.
Look, you didn't even remember it was yesterday. I'm not that.
Well, I remember it's my hips, but that turns my shoulders. Anyway, so let's start at the beginning. How did you come to play golf in the first place?
Actually, I started golf for rehab. I broke my shoulder when I was 10 years old, and the doctors, they said I should play golf or tennis. My dad recreationally played every once in a while, so I was like, okay, I'll play golf. It was literally that random because I was a dancer. I wanted to be a cheerleader while I was cheering at the time, and I rode horses. So golf was not on my radar, but I think life gives you other plans. And next thing I know, I started playing golf. The very first time I played a hole with my dad, it was a par 3. I made a par. So yeah, go figure. Probably I topped a shot off the, obviously the front tee box, and then chipped it up, or topped it again probably, or somewhere up by the green, and then I chipped it in. So needless to say, after that, I got the bug. I mean, as any golfer knows, when you catch that bug, it's hard to stop. You just, I love chasing the inevitable, which you can't ever get to. So
how did you get so good so quickly? So think about that. Between the time you were 10, at 17, you got a full scholarship, or around 17. So in a very short period of time, you became very competitive, it seems.
Yes. I mean, I had a huge amount of support from the club that I was at, and my parents were massive at encouraging me, never demanding, just encouraging. And I don't know, I'm that type personality where if I'm going to do something, I like to be the best at it.
Yeah.
I like to get the best out of myself and others, which is why I love teaching now. And I just worked hard. I mean, I tell every lesson, including yours, as you know, if you want to get better, there's no shortcut. You have to practice. You have to attempt to work on that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Now, so you got good quickly.
Yes.
You got recruited by UGA, where you went and had a great career, but were you recruited elsewhere?
Yes, I was actually, I was top 10 in the nation as a junior. So I've played in the Junior Ryder Cup. You didn't know this, at Valderrama, is where the Ryder Cup was at the time. I didn't get to play Valderrama, but I got to go watch because it was the first, now they call it, obviously, the Junior Ryder Cup. It's all boys, but the very first one was a mix of boys and girls. And we went over there and we played Great Britain and Ireland just as normal. And I can't remember the golf courses. Shocker. But I'll look it up and I'll have to tell you. But we were victorious. We had a great time. It was my first time playing in Europe, and I would have been 16 when I went over there. And so, yeah, I was lucky enough to be recruited all across the country.
Wow, that's fantastic. I had no idea about the Junior Ryder Cup. That was that must have been amazing.
It was the first time I had ever seen golf at a level where I was like, oh, this is not just something people randomly go and play on the weekends. Like, this is when you go to Europe and you watch golf fans, like, that's a whole other level
Yeah.
of golf enthusiasts. And that was the first time I was like, oh, this is fun in front of everybody. So yeah, so this is when they had those telescoping
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Those cardboard boxes with the mirrors.
Yes, and you looked over, they gave every one of us that. We had reserved seating on like the first tee and the 18th green. And so, with at the time, I guess it was 8 of us from America and 8 of us from GBI. It was really cool. We got to have a lot of relationships formed during that time. Yeah.
Excellent. That's very cool. I had no idea. So you had a wonderful career at UGA, national championship, All-American several times. What's your fondest memory of playing golf at UGA?
Well, I mean,
national championship.
Probably the national championship. And honestly, I had a coach my first 2 years that was incredible. And she made golf fun, but she also knew that you had to work hard if you wanted to accomplish your goals. So probably the fondest memory was, I was telling somebody this the other day, is that we were at regionals. We were expected to win regionals. We had just won the SEC championship and we played horrible. I mean, like, awful. We were like, she's going to be so mad. We get in the van. She's not saying a word. We're all looking at each other like, nobody talk, nobody say anything. Well, she starts driving, then she pulls over at this random elementary school, and we're like, oh my gosh, she's about to go at us. I don't know. And she never got mad. Like, that was one of those things. She wasn't a angry coach in any way. But she pulls over, turns around in her seat, and she goes, you guys, it's just a round of golf. Calm down. Y'all all get out of the van, go swing on the swing set here at the elementary school, and have fun. Like, remember that we're just playing golf. It's a round of golf. This isn't anything super major that is going to define you as a person. She goes, let's go have some fun, relax. We're going to go get ice cream, go eat. And then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll play. We won regionals that year. So, I mean, it just is a good reminder for me. That's probably my best memory. And I tell that to juniors, it's just a round of golf. Like, and it's even when you're playing professionally, even, obviously the U.S. Women's Open's on at Pebble Beach right now. We've got all of the Opens over in Europe coming up. At the end of the day, when you get done, you go home to your family, you go home to your animals, you go home to, what the real world is. We're only here for a limited amount of time. So let's just enjoy it and find little bits of memories. Don't get me wrong, winning's fun though.
Well, you know what? So you for people who don't know, Angela's married to another teaching professional, Todd Ormsby. He played golf at NC State. But how does Todd feel about being the second or maybe third best golfer in his family?
Well, he would argue that he's not, because
Laney's first.
Laney's
then
first,
you, and then her, and then
no, actually, I don't know. Even we've got the other 3 older kids that are all really good in themselves with golf.
But he wasn't an All-American, and he didn't win an NCAA title.
He won when he was a junior. He won 3 American Junior Golf Association events in a row, which had never really been done before. Yeah. So I'm sure now with all these golfers, who knows what the records are and stuff. But no, he was a top 20 player, top 10 player in the country when he was
he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's still a good player.
The last time we played, he did beat me. So I guess we could honestly say I did attempt a shot. I may have overhooked it, went into the water, made a double. It happens. So whatever. I lost that one.
Okay. So you had this great career in college. What was the transition like to the LPGA?
I had a good first year. I think I was almost too naive to understand what was going on. As I look back, I just kept going out there and playing golf. The girls were so accepting. They were awesome to be around. We had such a great time. And it was girls that I had never known before. So, or ladies, girls, whatever. I loved it. It was so much fun. I think my second, third, and fourth year is when I kind of was trying to be better and fix golf swings that weren't really broken. They were already mine. So, I mean, as you know, when I teach golf now, I want people to own their own golf swings. And there is no, perfect swing anymore.
Other than mine, my
Yours,
over the top move is
it is something we're working on.
a lifetime work in progress. Sure.
So no, the transitioning, I mean, can you ever be prepared when you transition anything in life? Pretty much
Sure.
no. I mean, right? So like it's just you learn as you go. But thankfully it's a great community. The LPGA is amazing.
Yeah.
So I had a great time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I played in, and I think you and I talked about this, and you probably, I know you played in the event. I didn't know you then. But what used to be the Chick-fil-A that they played at Eagles Landing here in Atlanta, I played in the Pro-Am twice. And I'd also played in a PGA event up in like the Greater Milwaukee Open. And in that Pro-Am, they segregated you away from the pros, right? They like said, you hit down here and your pro, we'll put you together with your pro on the first tee. And he was wonderful. Brian Henniger was a 2-time winner on tour. We had a great day with him. But when I went to play with the LPGA women, I'm standing on the practice green next to Annika Sorenstam and some of my heroes. And then you go up to the range, you're hitting right next to them. They're talking to you. They're friendly. I was blown away at how accessible they were. And it was wonderful.
I mean, and it still is. That's what I think makes, and forgive me, I've not been out there, in years, but I just think that the LPGA players, they get it. We need our fans, right? So without the fans, we don't have anybody out to come out and watch. Without that, we don't have sponsorships. So I think everybody got it. And it's also fun when you get to engage with the crowd, right? Like,
right.
I've formed lifelong friendships with going up and talking to little girl. This sounds weird,
Right.
but little girls like randomly standing at the range or on the side of there's two specifically that I have been friends with forever. One is now in the golf industry and just became an assistant coach over in South Carolina. So, when you watch that progression and you watch, and did I have anything to do with it? I don't know. But going up to see a little girl sitting in her cute little US Kids outfit and saying hi, becomes a friendship and, over
an inspiration to them. Right.
Possibly. Yeah, for sure. So
I remember I was taking my girls to the LPGA events because I wanted them to see great role models,
right.
Great women, strong women, independent women. And I wanted them to know that anything is possible. If you want to do this, you could do this. I wasn't pushing them towards golf. I just wanted them to meet strong women, and the LPGA Tour is full of them.
Yeah, I was on a conference call yesterday with a whole bunch of the female pros within Invited, which is a company that I'm kind of under the umbrella. And we were all talking about kind of like these little things that kind of matter. And I was telling all the ladies, I said, I was always told you never know where the next US Open champion is coming from. You never know where the next British Open champion is coming from. You don't know that. So just always be aware that it could be the one person you send a text to encourage them after a bad round or congratulations after a good round, so right. We're in an industry where words and actions matter. And so make them all positive.
Yeah, I agree. Now, you had a long run on tour. 7 years is a long time. I don't know what the average is for a woman that gets to the LPGA Tour. I'm certain that it's less than 7 years. So what led to your longevity?
I had to go back to Q school a couple times. Um,
Yeah, but you
I
made
actually,
it.
I did. I actually was talking to Todd about that. We were watching the Q School event on TV back in the fall, and yeah, I don't know. I always played good at Q School. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like that event specifically, I kind of rose to my peak. I did. I played okay in the majors. I never. I mean, I played good at some. Every one of them, I played good at one point. I think it's just I had a great support staff. I had a great when I say support, it's not like what we have now, which is like
Right,
this.
right, right.
My support staff was my mom, my dad, my sister, um, and my people from my club back home.
Yeah.
You know, not
Well, you
not
had some good sponsors too, right?
yeah, I did have some good sponsors. Very, very loyal to me. Loved representing them. You know, I'll shout out one of them was Marathon Petroleum, who, you know, now is with Stacy Lewis. That was one of my favorites. Like they were awesome. I got to go down pit road multiple times at different races. I had a couple pharmaceutical companies. I had Adidas and TaylorMade, who were awesome. Titleist with golf balls. So, I mean, I had some great sponsors over the
Yeah.
years.
Well, you know, one thing that stands out when I tell people about you, because I want to build up your credibility, is, you know, one of the things I say, well, you know, one season she led the LPGA Tour in sand saves, which means you were great out of the sand. What do you
Yes.
see in most amateurs that cause them to not play well out of the sand?
A lot of head movement that goes up and down, a lot. And so like when you're hitting out of the bunker, start paying it, like watch these tour players. They stay super level. So they might be rotating, but their head never goes up and down, which means their strike at the ball underneath the sand is consistent.
Right.
You're consistently taking the same amount of sand out of the bunker, then you can consistently have confidence that you're going to get out of the bunker.
Right.
When you try to lift a ball out of the bunker, that ball is bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's over the bunker.
You just described my sand game. No, I'm kidding. We do need to work on that. I'm struggling with sand lately, but I would say I've chipped in out of the sand more than my share. And as recently as God, I want to say in January, February, on number one at Braylon, I was short left in the sand, and the pin was tight to where I was, and I one hopped one just perfect into the hole. And then listen to this. So that goes in. My buddy, who's my partner in this round, is in the back bunker. He hits it in.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, on top of my ball. You're like, what are the odds of two guys that are 10 plus handicap
Very, very limited.
birdieing right for out of the sand? It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Anyway, well, you played in 10 majors in your career on the LPGA Tour, including 3 British Opens. And you played, if I'm not mistaken, you played once at Sunningdale and twice at Royal Lytham. What was that like, being able to play in England?
I mean, incredible. I I don't even have enough other words for you. Todd and I constantly talk about, and I've talked to you about this, is going back over there and playing. There's just so many courses. It's, I mean, obviously you have Royal Lytham behind you and all of those lovely bunkers. And it was incredible. I made the cut once when I at Royal Lytham, did not make the cut at Sunningdale, and then the second time I played Royal Lytham. But I have a funny story because I don't even know if I've told you this one. So how many bunkers are at Royal Lytham? It's like
170.
Stupid amount of numbers.
Yeah.
Like stupid, right? So
I'm not exaggerating. I think it's 170.
No.
That's not an
Yeah,
exaggeration.
it's like, no, I know. It's like, it's unbelievable how many bunkers. And they've always said that if you need to play, if you want to play well at Royal Lytham, you can't hit in the bunkers. You have to limit those because typically you're going backwards because it'll roll right underneath the lip and you can't go forward. You have to go backwards. So I had made the cut. I get to 18 of the 4th round. I have not hit it in a bunker yet. When I say not hit in a bunker, I'm talking
All
about I have
week.
all week
That's Tiger-esque, right?
until 18 when I hit my drive into the fairway bunker, have to turn out
Oh
backwards,
man. I
almost
know that bunker.
almost hit it out
Down
of
the right
bounds.
side, right? Oh my God.
And I could only go backwards. I almost hit it out of bounds because I hit it too hard out of the bunker. I think I made a triple on the last hole on my last day.
I'll tell you what. Well, I've played there a couple times, and it's been more than 10 years since I played there. But that bunker on the right was left in its like original condition, meaning it had the big tall grass sticking out of it. And as you
Yes.
look at the ones behind me, they're finely groomed. This was like a big bunker that was really gnarly. That bunker over this right here.
Yes.
I've got a great photo of a friend of mine in there, who was like a 5 handicap at the time, who had he got up and down at it. But it makes for a great picture because what you can't see from there is he's probably 6'2" and looked like he was 4 feet tall standing down in the depths of it, right? I mean,
Yes. I remember the first practice round at Royal Lytham, and I don't know which hole it was. Gosh, I just remember it was on the right side of a green. And I'm like, I turned to my caddy, which is a whole nother story. I turned to my caddy, he's like, oh, I want to try this bunker. And he's like, why? You're not going to get out. I think I attempted it 5 times and I could never get out of it. I'm like, okay, don't go there this week. But I remember also getting up on one of the holes and him looking at me. His name was Rose, massive rose tattoo on his neck. And who knows, he probably is still there caddying because a lot of us use local caddies when we went over to the British, right? Because why not? And and I get over there and he goes, okay, I need you to aim it over that bunker. And I go, but the hole goes that way. And he goes, yeah, no, you need to aim that way over that bunker. I'm like, wow, I'm paying a local guy to tell me to hit it off the world. Wow, he was correct every time. And that's why I played well, because he literally just said, go that way. And I went that way, or go that way. And I went that way. And I didn't have to think. And that's probably why I played such good golf. Because again, like I said, my first couple of years, I was naive to really how hard these golf courses are. So that's what, like when you see the amateurs, that's probably why they play sometimes good in these opens, or they're just naive. They don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had 2 people on the other day, and we're going to have them on the podcast during Open Week. It was a father and son, and at the end, I always ask, what advice do you have for someone going over to play for the first time, like they did? And he said, you got to pay attention to your caddy. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just have to hit it where they tell you to. They know the course like the back of their hand. You're not smarter than the caddy who's walked that course, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of times. And what's interesting, Angela, if you went back to Royal Lytham, you've played it. I mean, if you played it 2 practice rounds plus 4 rounds in the tournament, that's 6. And then the previous time where you didn't make the cut, you played it at least 2 practice rounds and 2 tournament rounds. You played it 10 times, right? Which is phenomenal. And it'd be interesting for you to go back and see how much the course has changed and see what you can do. Because I know a flood of memories would come back, right?
Yes, but I would not be as good as it was then. Yeah. I don't think I'd keep it out of the bunkers.
Yeah.
But I would love to go back and play. I'd love to go back and just bounce it off the back of the clubhouse, you know, right behind there, just for the fun of it, just like I've done before.
Well, you know, back then, there wasn't all the money that there is on the LPGA Tour. And I know the travel must have been expensive. What led you to want to play in the Women's British Open?
Why
well, I understand, but I know there's a reality of like, this is going to cost a fortune because it's
you just do
you
it.
And your mom and you just do it.
No, you just do it. I mean, you get the flight, you book the hotels, they don't have hotels in Royal Lytham. It's like you, but they are, but I don't know if I would call that a hotel. You book a room.
Yeah.
and you hope to find one where you get your own private bathroom. Thankfully, I was able to do that. But here's a funny story for you. First time, never been over. Well, I mean, I've been overseas when I played the Junior Ryder Cup, but Mom and I decide we're going to fly in a day early. We're going to drop all of our stuff off over at Royal Lytham in that place, in that kind of hotel. And then we're going to take the train into London, and we're going to spend a day in London, thinking, you know what? And then we'll just find a hotel, because, we're from the United States, so you just find a hotel, right? Because that is how my mind works. We're just going to find a hotel when we get to London. We'll stay one night, and then we'll come back the next morning, and whatever. So I think we flew in on a Saturday. So we go to London. London was beautiful. It was awesome. We just walked. It was, I mean, we had the random rain shower. We got all of the food. We saw the sights. Just literally just randomly went places. Well, then it started to become nighttime, and we finally realized, wow, I don't see any hotels like there are in the United States. What are we going to do? The train has stopped going back to over across, can't go back. This is before the days of Ubers and all that crazy stuff. Taxis, I'm not paying for that. That's insane. We were like, oh my gosh, we're just going to have to sleep on the streets in London. We didn't have a place. We finally found somebody in the subsystem that they're like, oh, you need a hotel. And we're like, yeah, we need a hotel. Spent a fortune on a hotel for this one night. And they're like, oh, you're going to have a view of the London Bridge. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. So we get to the hotel, you open the windows, and it's a brick wall. It's the view of the London Bridge. It's just, that is the London Bridge. It's just a brick wall. Literally open the windows, there's a brick wall. We laughed so hard I'm like, oh, that's marketing at its finest right there. You're
gonna have a view.
I'm gonna have a view of the London Bridge. Oh, we did. It was just a big old brick wall. But my mom and I laugh about that to this day, of now we have plans. Now we put plans into place so that we have a place to stay anytime we go places.
Yeah. That's fun. Well, you played at Sunningdale as well, which is a venerable English club that dates back well over 120 years. What were your impressions of Sunningdale?
Beautiful, beautiful course. I actually was hitting my irons extremely well that week. Same with my putting. Gosh, I played good, but I could not keep my driver in play. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And again, on 18, I missed the cut, but 18, the second day, hit it into oblivion. And you know how we sometimes may or may not get mad, and we just kind of bounce our club onto the ground. Well, I did. My head snaps off. The entire tournament, I had a weak shaft that had probably come off the airport.
Oh, yeah.
And I probably, most likely, after talking to TaylorMade and all them, I probably had something go wrong because it was so random. It was the only club I could not hit straight.
Yeah.
And you can't really play opens without.
Yeah. I had something similar happen. We went to, I was going to play, we took a group over and we played with them in Wales, and then we went up to Royal Lytham, and so we kind of went up the west coast of the UK. And the first day, I get on the first tee, my first swing with the driver, I hit the ball, and then the club head flies off.
Yeah.
So what had happened was, to your driver and mine, that in that overnight or overseas travel, it got compromised in the bag. And what was interesting? Mine broke, which turned out to be great for me. I couldn't afford a driver, so I just hit 3-wood. And we played a tournament that week for low net for the week. Mm-hmm. I beat 7 other guys for the week with not hitting anything but 3-wood off tees because I didn't have a driver. If yours had broke on the first day, there may have been a different outcome for you.
Yeah, I mean, we would have figured out a driver,
you would have had you would have gotten a new driver, or hell, you could have switched to a 3-wood, which you would have hit better than a wild driver.
Without a doubt. Now, hindsight's 2020, I wish that I would have actually hit more 3-woods, but we're stubborn and we think that we can fix it on the golf course just like anybody else can.
Yeah. Well, how did you prepare knowing that you're going to go over there, knowing that you need a different ball flight, or how
Mhm.
did you prepare for playing golf, links golf, as an example, when you went to
You know,
Royal?
it's I tried to find golf courses at the time that would have a lot of wind, because I knew that it was going to be windy. I knew that we're going to have the possibility of the elements. So I found every golf course that I could around me that was link style or had fast greens or had wind. And at the time, and still do, there's a golf course down the road from us. Todd and I used to actually teach out of there and work out of there. It's the Fields Golf Club. I'm giving them a free prop, which, because I really do love their golf course. It's a link style course. So I remember going up there specifically and playing so that I could get the wind and I could get some of those, figuring out how to bump and run.
Yeah,
Because if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to take a 7-iron or an 8-iron from 30 yards away and just let it bump all the way up to the onto the
yeah,
green. I mean, there is no flying it to these holes. There is no flop shots. Like, it is,
right,
you have to be so much more imaginative around these greens, and you have to take bogeys. You have to know that bogeys are okay.
yeah.
That they're not gonna hurt you. So yeah.
Well, you know what? It's kind of interesting. It's what the USGA recently did, or evidence of that, in the handicap system now for us amateurs, which is they adopted part of what the UK was already doing, which was that they take into account the course conditions that day when they calculate your handicap. It's not just about how did I play against standard stroke index, it's how did everybody play that day? Because if it's windy as can be, and the average score is 92 and normally it's 85, as an example,
Right.
that it's not going to adversely affect your handicap. But anyway, yeah, that's fascinating that you thought ahead and did that. Now, how your experience over there? How was the Women's British Open different from other majors that you played here in the U.S. and Canada?
Different food.
It
I
always comes back to food. No.
I remember going there, and because we were ours was sponsored by Weetabix. And I'm like, oh, Weetabix, it's just cereal. I'm gonna try this. Nothing against Weetabix, but that was not my cup of tea, literally. I learned how to drink tea the British way, with milk and sugar. So that's actually the only way that I drink tea, like hot tea now. Um, it was just fish and chips became my best friend.
Yeah,
Obviously,
absolutely, absolutely.
absolutely. It became one of those. Let me find the best fish and chips we could. Um, you know, it's just different golf. It's just a different atmosphere. It's different people. I found everybody to be, extremely kind.
Yeah,
And obviously, I knew that we were Americans. We knew we were there for the tournament. But we just had a really good time. And I'd probably say, actually, for any of your customers, any of your friends that go overseas, pack accordingly. Literally pack for every single season.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
be afraid. Right. And because that's one thing that somebody had told me, because I'm like, there's no way, it's July. I do not need to bring a sweater and a beanie overseas.
yeah,
I don't need to do that. And they're like, I promise you, please bring it. And I'm like, all right, fine. I did. Oh, thank goodness I did.
yeah,
Because we had a day of it freezing and
yeah,
cold and then rain. I mean, I did the whole umbrella to the side, walking
yeah.
down the fairway, and oh yeah, I mean, you get it all. So yeah, that's probably the best
That's
advice
good. That's great advice. Now, I got a question. I want to go back to something. You
yeah,
said you had the caddy named Rose at Royal.
yes,
Was he your caddy both times you played there?
yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So when I knew I had made it the second time, I had called over there and basically, um, hired him or reserved him from the caddy master,
Yeah.
and he was incredible. And this time I knew that he needed to be paid after every round.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. Yeah.
Yes. The first time, because American caddies, you just give them a check at the end of the week, no big deal. The first time I had Rose kind of came to me after the first round. He's like, "Hey, do you have my money?" I'm like, no, I was gonna change it out. So we always had like our own cash person at every event that would cash out our checks, and especially when we were over in Europe or overseas, so like when we went to Mexico, and they would cash it out into local money.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have to go to a bank. We basically had our own bank within LPGA.
Yeah.
Forgot that we used to do that. That's weird. But so I went and I was like, oh, I normally go at the end of the week and I don't have it. And he was not a happy camper, because they are expected to pay. He goes, I need my money so I can go to the pub. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, hold on. And so we scraped together everything we had, like in euros at the time, and he was paid accordingly. And
Excellent.
He
That's
was taken
funny.
care of. Yeah, so it was kind of funny, but yeah, that's a funny thing that I remember just now.
But overall, you enjoyed the whole experience over there, not just playing golf, but
everything.
Yeah.
From I also, and I don't know now, but I remember we first restaurant my mom and I went into, got fish and chips, and we wanted to leave a tip, and they were offended that we were leaving a tip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And so then the waitress came over and was like, you don't do tipping over here. It's included in the cost. And I'm like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like they literally got offended that we wanted to give them more money. I was like, okay, I won't tip you. I don't know how it is now. Is it the same way?
No, it's still
Like,
the same way. Yeah, it's funny because that's one of the things we talk to our clients about what to expect and what things are different over there.
Right.
And one of the things we talk about is tipping. The people that do accept tips are typically caddies,
Yes,
bellhops in hotels, and if you're in St. Andrews, there are restaurants there that cater to Americans, and everyone tips there. But other than that, you don't have to tip. They don't expect it, and they certainly don't expect 20%,
right.
or 15% like we do here.
Yeah. That one was one of those things that caught me off guard. It's funny, you're making me remember all these things.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to your time on tour. You got to play with, for people that became your friends and stars of the LPGA. Who is the best golfer that you played with on tour? And you know what I'm talking about, where you play with someone who you think is, wow, this person's better than I am. I know you're trying to beat them every time, but there had to be time, like when people play with Tiger Woods, right? Or 15 years ago, they go, this guy's clearly like the world's best golfer.
Oh, that's Annika, 100%. Whenever you saw her name on the leaderboard, you're like, okay, all right, there she goes. She's going off now. Okay, bye-bye, Annika. But she was really sweet. Funny story here about Annika is my first ever, this is US Open week for the women. And my first ever US Open I played in at Pine Needles. And the way that I didn't know how it worked, my dad called to get a tee time for my first practice round. And they said, does it matter? And he's like, no, just give me a tee time. Never went to check to see who I was playing with. I walk up to the first tee. I would be 21 years old. First US Open. I had qualified on my own at a qualifier in Tennessee.
Were you still in college then?
Yes. Yeah. So I qualified. Yes. So I went through the normal qualifying just like you do.
So
now.
you weren't a professional yet?
No, this is no, I was just an amateur. I actually was the low qualifier at that qualifying site. See, there's something about qualifying sites. I don't know what it is.
You do well at those.
I do well at those. But I walk up to the first tee. It's Annika Sorenstam, Charlotta Sorenstam, and oh my gosh, I'm afraid to draw a blank on her name. Anyways, and it's the sister of somebody I was playing with in college. And I walk up to tee. I told him and my teammate is caddying for me at the time. And I turn to my team and I go, oh my gosh, what did we just do? Like,
wow.
What is going on? So we get up there and Annika was extremely gracious, very nice. And she's like, hey, do you want to play in our little game? And I'm like, yeah, but I have no money. I'm a college student. It's the first thing I said. She goes, I got you. Like, okay, thanks. So we ended up playing an 18-hole match. And I was Annika's partner and she won. I mean, I'm sure I know I helped actually. I remember making a putt on one of the first couple holes for birdie, and I made a birdie. And but just very gracious. Like I said earlier, the girls are literally, it's like a family.
Yeah.
And when I decided to retire, is one of the hardest things that you have to go through, because this is like, these are people that you have
Yeah.
experienced life with, some
Yeah.
of them getting married, some of them having babies, some of them, some of us losing. I lost my dad during the whole thing when I was on tour, and being there for each other during that. There's nothing like that. You can't really describe it. It's like taking a college team and like make it 100 large,
Yeah.
right? So they did a special on Sayri Pak the other day, and how kind she used to be on tour. She was always kind to me. I
Yeah.
remember leaving the British Open. This is so funny. Leaving Sunningdale, where we took the same van ride back to the hotel. I mean, not to the hotel, back to the airport. Well, they had double booked us because honestly, Sayri didn't actually book a spot. She just showed up, and I mean, she was
You're not
like,
going to say no to her.
you're not going to say no to Sayri. She was like number 2 in the. I think she was right behind Annika. Like, you just don't say no to her. And so I remember sitting in the floorboard on the way to the airport because I was going to make sure that Sayri had a seat.
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, I have a similar story from another guy that we're going to have on the podcast during Open Week. Like, it's going to air around the same time as yours. And this is a guy named Jim Payne. He's the head pro at a course not far from Lytham called Southport and Ainsdale. But in 1991, he was an amateur. And so he was probably, I mean, he's probably in his early 50s now, but he would have been like 21 then. And he was playing, he played in the final round of the Open.
Mhm.
And his partner was Jack Nicklaus. Now imagine that's like you, right? Playing in the final round of the US Open with Annika. It'd be like, So anyway, what happens is he said the same thing. He's very gracious, nicest guy in the world, giving me tips. And so this guy won the silver medal for low amateur. He beat Phil by four strokes to be low amateur. So
Wow.
then flash forward 5 years. He'd recently won the Italian Open, and he's playing in the Open Championship. He gets picked up by a van, and the van driver says, "We got one more stop. Do you mind? We need to pick up one more person." He's in the back of the van waiting for this guy to come on. It's Jack Nicklaus. Jack looks at him and goes, "Jim, how you been? How's your back?" And he's like, how would he know that that I'd had back surgery and was coming back from that? But it's a similar thing, like, getting in the van and, making room for Jack and Barbara Nicklaus, or making room for Sayri Pak.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, who's your favorite LPGA player to watch now? Do you have one?
Oh, that's a hard one. To watch now. Oh, they're so good. I mean,
No kidding.
they're really fun to watch. Like, I liked watching yesterday Brooke Henderson and just how she attacks the golf course.
Yeah.
Obviously Rosang that swing is effortless.
Does it remind you of me? When you see her, do you think, look, effortless, great hip turn? No?
This is really pretty weather out here.
I wonder if she swings with a stick through her belt loops.
She may at times have a coach, but she probably does have a coach that gets, that demands a high level of quality swings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
Are there any women still on tour? Because you've been retired now for 13 years. Do you have any friends still out on tour?
Not ones that I necessarily talk to all the time, but Brittany Lincecum still plays some, and Angela Stanford. I mean, can we just talk about how the longevity of her
Yeah.
and how amazing that she's been playing. Yeah, I mean, she just won the senior LPGA championship last week, and then comes out yesterday. I think she shot 4 over yesterday, which is still really good on that golf course. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not it's Pebble during the U.S. Open. So I mean, there's not a lot of girls that I know out there anymore. But it's fun to watch. It's fun to just watch how it is a global tour. And I
Yeah.
have friends that are teaching all over the world. I have a lot of friends that are teaching over in Asia, and to watch a lot of their players starting to get on the LPGA tour, and um, it's kind of like a grassroots effort of helping the tour kind of keep succeeding. And yeah, it's fun to watch. I love where the commissioners have been taking it over the last many years.
Yeah.
They've just done a really good job of learning how to market such a niche of a sporting event. Because we are different than a PGA Tour. And a lot of people always say they watch the LPGA because their swings, their swing speeds, the distance they can hit the ball is much more relatable. I mean, who really can hit it 320 off of a tee, right? Like that's not relatable for 99% of the people out there.
Yeah, but you know who my favorite is on the LPGA tour, other than you?
Who's that?
I've got someone you played with, Laura Davies.
Oh, fun to watch.
How good is she?
Dang.
Holy cow. She's over 50 and she's still competitive.
So, fun story. In Chicago, playing with her for the first time. First time ever. Never played with her before. I've seen her. I'd already been on tour a couple of years, just never been paired with her. She tees it up on the first hole, and after she hit, she looked at me. She goes, "Oh, I play ready golf. If you're not ready to go, I'm going." I'm like, "Okay, no problem. Go ahead."
I'll tell you what.
She plays fast.
She's
Holy
my
cow.
favorite player. I swear to God. I love watching her play. I love on par threes how she takes her heel and kicks up, doesn't use it, kicks up the dirt, puts her. I love that. I love everything about her. She is and she bombs it.
Bombs it. Yes,
I
with
mean,
a swing that you wouldn't normally think they could hit it that far.
Yeah.
But yeah, she actually, I'm pretty sure that she had a home that was over by Sunningdale, because I think it was Sunningdale, or she lives just outside London. But she had everybody over to her house during the British to kind of like just have a good time. Well, I wouldn't say everybody. I happen to be friends with some of the caddies that were European.
She's really close with caddies.
Very close with a lot of the caddies.
Yeah.
And I may or may not have been dating one at the time. So I was part of that invite to go over there. And she had the coolest thing that she had at her house is she had televisions everywhere. She loves sports.
Yes.
Everybody had a sport on, like everyone. I'm talking about this was before everybody had TVs in every room, right? Like that's not something that everybody had. It was, I just remember being like, wow, she really loves sports.
Yeah. She loves soccer. She loves auto racing, golf. I mean,
horse racing, all of it.
She's a wonderful commentator. I mean, we only get to hear her really during the Open Championship, but I love her. She's like,
she's awesome.
I'd rather meet her than any other woman golfer other than you.
She would have some of the best stories by far.
Yeah.
Hands and what I love about her is just how genuine and how real she's always been. Like when she tells me, "Hey, if you're not ready, I'm going." Like I love that. Like I have now adapted that into my life, as you know, as your instructor.
Yeah.
That I love being direct. That's a nice way of saying it.
There you go. That's true. That's true. I can be direct with you too.
You have been direct with me. We will keep that one on the side.
Let me ask this. What's your favorite golf course in the world?
Oh,
I know
this one's going to come out of nowhere.
Okay.
This one's going to come out of nowhere. Everybody's asked me that since I was forever, right? It's just one of those normal questions. I love Teton Pines in Wyoming, in Grand Tetons. Teton Pines. Because it was a mix of a challenging golf course. The views were stupid amazing.
Yeah.
I played it when I was 18 years old, so I'm going way back. I've
Was this a
played.
tournament or?
This is a tournament, so it was called the Cannon Cup. Now I think it's called the Wyndham Cup with the AJGA.
Yeah.
It's basically the top 10 from the East Coast versus the top 10 from the West Coast, both boys and girls. So there's 40 kids all playing at the same time. And I just absolutely loved that golf course. I haven't been back. Like, I need to go back.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I've not had anything that's ever really, I hate saying this, like made me say not, because the course was challenging, but it was fair. Like, that's my biggest thing. I want to have a challenging course, but please don't make it stupid where you can't make a par, right? Like
Right.
that you have to, I don't like lucky golf courses. And just the view, right? Like, every hole was gorgeous, and it was, they had lots of native land, I remember. So that's probably my favorite of all time.
Now
Yeah. Random.
when you brought up playing in that, it reminded me of something. Did you ever play in a Curtis Cup?
Yes. We played at Fox Chapel up in Pennsylvania in 2002. Yeah, 2002. I played on the Curtis Cup team, which I'm very excited about, the fact that the Curtis Cup is coming to Pine Valley. And we always get invited back as previous players for like events and stuff. And I was like, hey, we're going to Pine Valley. So that's going to be on my, I'm sure the reunion there will be incredible. Just like the reunion they had, the USGA put on a reunion for all previous past US Open winners, like women winners this past week. And a friend of mine, Hillary Lunke, she actually just posted about it this morning.
She's
and I
a
saw it on her
major
Facebook
winner,
page.
right?
She is. That was actually 20 years ago when she played. She won out in Oregon.
Pumpkin Ridge?
In a playoff. Yeah, and she
I
played.
remember
It was
that.
the second day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe it was against Angela Stanford, to be honest with you, because it was a big deal, because these are like this was two of everybody's like really favorite people.
Yeah.
And Hillary actually was, she qualified by going through local, which at that time, if you were in the top, I want to say if you were in the top 100 on the LPGA, you didn't have to go through local qualifying. So it was a big deal that she had her tour card and still went through local. And then ended up winning. And I played golf with Hillary since we were juniors, and then she played at Stanford. But what an incredible, like, but it was kind of fun to see that the USGA put together this reunion. So I'm hoping the Curtis Cup will do the same big thing.
Oh, excellent. That's very cool. Pine Valley would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Fun to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Open Championship in 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
I cannot wait to walk Royal Liverpool again. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a question for you. Tell us about your teaching now. I know that you're dedicated to teaching young people, especially girls, to love golf, but you also teach high schoolers, men and women. So tell us about your teaching practice.
Yeah, so I was coaching, like I said before, like you had said, over at Point University, which I loved the school. COVID came, and I had at the time a 4-month-old. We have a little girl. We have 3 older kids, but then we had our nice little extra at the very end. And it was just a bit too much for me. You know, nobody knew what was COVID and stuff like that. And so I kind of completely stepped away from the golf business for about, it was probably good about 8 or 9 months. And the gentleman I was working for at the time, he goes, Angela, you do know that your passion is out on that tee box. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, then go find it. And I had been teaching on and off. I just needed a break away from golf in general. Like it had just been consuming me over all the years. And so I taught, Todd and I were like, you know what, my passion is to grow the game. My passion is to give people the opportunity to play golf just as I did. I'm not trying to make US Open winners out of everybody. I just want them I want every golfer to have that moment, and where it's like, that's the shot, right? Because when you get to have that moment, you get to know the purity of the game. And so that's my driving force when I'm teaching golf. Is I'm invested. I don't teach golf just to like fill my book. I'm not trying to teach 10 hours a day. Good no, I'm exhausted. 5 hours is my I've figured out is my nice like that's my I give everybody 100% with my 5 hours of teaching. I know that people be like, well, you could teach so much more and make so much more money. I'm like, yeah, that's great, but it's not what I'm about. I'm about trying to give this quality and this that moment when I get to see it. It's like, then for me, it's almost like me making a putt at the British Open and having the crowd roar, right?
Yeah.
It's having those that feeling and knowing that somebody knows what it's like to hit that pure shot. So that's kind of my way about it. I've taught everybody in the last year. I've taught everybody from, or many years, 4 to 81. I taught an 81-year-old gentleman not too long ago that was an incredible golfer and shockingly enough, guess what we worked on? Turning.
Oh my God. Well, people, if they get older, their flexibility is not as good.
No, you can still turn. It's
No. I agree, but it's harder.
It is harder. I get it.
But you're calling me old now.
No, sophisticated.
More tenured.
Hey, I just color my gray. You're good. I got it in there. I just color that junk. But you know, I love teaching. I love getting out there and helping. I do have a goal for myself. This is random. I don't know if I've told you this. So on the LPGA Tour, when you turn 45, you can play in some senior events. We kind of have a small little group. I know I'll have the ability to qualify. I don't know how it actually works. But my overall goal is when I turn 50. So we've got some years, not a lot, but we have some years. I would like to qualify for the U.S. Senior Women's Open. Yeah. And then once I've done that, I will have played in every USGA event I was capable of playing in. So that would be kind of cool.
That would girls,
yeah. So U.S. Girls, U.S. Women's Amateur, U.S. Open, Curtis Cup, and then it would be this U.S. Senior Women's Open. Because at the time I wasn't allowed to play in the pub links because I was a member of a private, semi-private club.
Right.
So yeah, so
that's a small list of people I would imagine that have played in those events, all of them, right?
Yeah, that would be. I would imagine it's a lot. So so that's my ultimate goal. As my husband says, I should probably play more golf.
Well, I can coach you on golf.
Perfect.
Based on everything you've taught me, I could
give me around the course.
Give you some tips.
I love it.
I've got just one more question for you, and that is, for someone who's playing links golf for the first time, yes, right? What advice do you have for them beyond being prepared for bad weather?
Yes. Or good weather.
Yeah. But what advice would you have for people? Most of the people we take over are going for the first time. I'd love for you to share what advice you might have for them.
Honestly, go to your local pro, tell them that you're going to be playing in it, and ask them to help learn how to hit a proper bump and run. Excellent. Learn how to hit a proper bump and run with the correct, and learn how to use different clubs depending upon how far you need to fly it in the air. Because when you know how to do a proper bump and run, when you know how to use different clubs, and ask them if you can do this lesson on the golf course, because you can find every golf course, you can find most golf courses, a golf hole that's not elevated, right?
Right.
Because that's what you don't have at British Opens or over clubs overseas. You don't have the elevated greens. You don't have the bump. You just, everything is kind of right there in front of you. So learning how to hit those shots, and then learning how to use the proper color golf ball so you can find it in the heather.
Good plan.
Because you're gonna hit it in the heather.
Well, and you want to have a caddy. That's probably another piece of advice. Take a caddy, because
pay for the caddies. Pay for it. Pay for them. Pay for them. Pay for them. Pay for them. It will make your life easier. You'll have more fun. The stories they have, oh my gosh, the stories they have are just, and they'll tell you the local watering holes. They'll tell you the local places to go. Like, trust them.
Yeah.
They are there for you.
That's excellent advice. I couldn't agree more. So I lied. I've got one more question.
Okay, I got you.
And that is, where and how can people find you so that they can improve their golf game?
Yeah, so I'm in Noonan, Georgia. at a club called White Oak Golf Club. I'm also, my husband and I also do have a YouTube channel. We haven't posted in a long time, but it's TAO Golf.
How golf?
TAO Golf. Yeah. So Todd and Angela Ormsby Golf. This might be our little Kickstarter to start doing. We used to do challenges. So we used to do like little couple challenges, and I think the last time I won because it was a chipping challenge and I chipped in on them. He didn't like it. Yeah, so we're going to try to do a little bit more of those just to make it fun. But yeah, you can find me at White Oak and try to find the TAO Golf. I think we're also on Instagram as TAO Golf. So
excellent.
Yeah. I'll link it. Once you link it, then
well, I hope people do find you. You've been wonderful to work with. Obviously, when you moved away for a while, and I couldn't use you anymore, I went to someone else, and they were good too. I love that guy, but the most success I had with a golf coach was you, and that's why I came back. So I appreciate everything you've done for my golf game. So let's get you back down to a 5 again, and then I'll start paying you real money.
Don't forget, you have to practice in between each one of our sessions.
That damn word again, practice. There we go. Hey, Angela, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for investing your time with us today. It's been wonderful to have you. Can't wait for others to see you and hopefully reach out to you.
Sounds good. See you on the links.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thanks.